What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. It's that nice cool winter season I've been telling you guys the past few market watches about, where the prices, they keep dipping down and down and down. So the vendors are kind of getting cabin fever. They're stuck here watching all these prices go down. They're making less money on their cards, and they say, guys, the buyouts, they've slowed down. What do we do? And they start to pick and choose their cards that they think are good long-term investments and slam them. They get together and they decide what's good to buy out. Now, the Winged Dragon of Ra Immortal Phoenix is a card I suggested way back when it was $3, and by its market price it says $6.70. So over time it does look like it went up. I've pushed Millennium Pack a lot on Market Watch in terms of this pack as a whole is a good investment, mostly because of the old altar arts that I think will go up over time, like the old school cards that got altar arts and stuff like that. You got common Dark Paladins, tons of really nice stuff in this set that realistically should go up over time. But the new version of a god card stuck in here, the Winged Dragon of Ra Immortal Phoenix, was pretty nice to boot on top of it, and now it's sitting at, where are we at now? Because it actually went up overnight. 1289 lowest. And tons of people listing with 7 quantities. People were ready for this one, but they're trying to hold the bar higher. Now, this doesn't have an amazing effect that could be any sort of meta-defining or meme like the Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere mode. And if I were to throw my money towards a card, I might throw my money at the Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere mode super rares. You know, the triple kaiju in a sense. I still did think over time this would be way better than a $3 card, and it got there, and over time it was going to continue to creep up as a collector's card until it got a reprint in some packs. So it's a reasonable choice for a buyout. I can't actually wag my finger, shake my head at the people who did this, because they picked the smart one. On eBay, I think my tabs are refreshed. This guy has the back of a card picture, so we can't tell indefinitely that it's that card, but it's at $7.90 best offer, so we can maybe assume that's the best one. And then we see $15 from US listers. Last night, I think the lowest were only the, if I recall, the foreign listers, so people filling in the line and trying to hold the line on eBay as well. This is just one of those crazy buyouts. If you've been waiting for this card, take a chill pill. It'll cool back down probably. I don't think it's going to pull a Sphere mode where it hits 30 ridiculously. But the quantity of these that are available are somewhat high. So just wait and don't buy into the hype. And the vendors that have high quantities will slowly want to sell these for more than $6.70. But they might end up trickling all the way back down there. Genix Undyne DT. Yeah, you see this nice price? That's not where we're at anymore. 30. What are you doing, Undyne DT? Well, DT1 is all the way back like 8 years ago. It's an old card. And from talking to my friends, Robbie Cole said it's a weird OTK enabler, he thinks, and another friend said it's kind of the max rarity version that some Mermail players might play, so it might be a mix of those two things. Let me know in the comment section down below if you know the wacky, zany things from the OCG that are causing DT Undyne to hit all the way to 30 on TCG Player. Now, the reason I can wag my finger at this is we have the super rare, and I remember this being $3 for a hot minute. Pro Play Games at 10 cents, and there's plenty to buy from Pro Play Games this entire market watch. So feel free to Sniperino a 10-cent one from a good vendor. But we continue to look through, and the supers are relatively easy to get if you're buying stuff from the other vendor. But if you need to buy multiple, the lowest you can get them from is this Cupcake Charlie. He's got 5 of them at 75 cents. No one else has like 4 that you can buy and combine together. So that's kind of interesting that some of the lower ones have also been picked off on Gen X Undyne. The supers, I think look relatively nice. But the DT is definitely considered the highest rarity here. I just like that there's a mid rarity that looks really good for it on top of the DT, but that old DT just can't be beat. And there is one, if I refreshed my tabs? Yeah, 639, there's a listing. So yeah, if you've been waiting, you might want to get these, because once those are gone, the next lowest are almost $20 from Germany, and then $22. So yeah, you might want to highly consider. They had like 7 last night. Yep, 6 with 1 sold now. So if you have been holding off on this card for any reason, this listing is where to go before it's triple in price on the market. The super rares on eBay, of course, are more expensive, because anytime a card's under $1, it typically is above on eBay, or at $1, because they have to spend the stamp and the mailing. But it's not resting at $1 here. It's $1.50 lowest, with only 10 results. So somebody's kind of been picking these off of eBay, as it were. So you might want to consider getting your supers sooner than later as well. For some reason, this card's getting super hype. If you have a better reason than me, do let me know in the comment section down below. The next card that should be obvious to go up alongside it, that's still under the 50-cent mark, is Gen X Controller. This is just the obvious one to me. Like, if that's going up, this is going to go up. These sellers are at the 50-cent mark, but only have one, so you'd have to buy something else from their stores to pick them off before you see the $1.50, $1.60. So these are actually $1 under if you find something else from them. But it's just to note that it is slowly peaking around its market price still, and not moving much at all. So expect that to start moving, because if you have your DT Undynes, just like if you give a mouse a cookie, they'll want some milk. You give somebody DT Undynes, they're gonna want a DT Gen X controller, because you need to play it if you play Undyne. Oh, the Legendary Collection decks, something that I just noticed is slowly creeping up. A card that I suggested to you guys a while ago that's still creeping up. $1.90 versus market price of $2.27. It is above the $2 mark officially on eBay as well. It's just been creeping up. It's a card that I would suggest to get. I think I suggested them when they might have been as low as $1, one of the cards they were just trying to get rid of out of there. And now there's only 13 prices over here, and there's a lot more on eBay. 76 total. Oh, that's not just the common though. That's every version. LEDD. Let's make sure we get the right quantity. Only 20 on eBay. So really, these are going fast before they just bump back to, towards that $5 range. That commonly seems to happen with the Eye of Timaeus. Whenever we get a new version, it just goes back towards that $5 range. Suggestion for you guys of the day: Pro Play Games 339. You guys are out of your mind. This card is really good, and why I say it's good is you don't need to normal summon this card to get its effect. You get to just special summon this card you control into the deck, special summon monsters from your deck whose total levels equal 6. So what I really like about this card is with Firewall, once you get Firewall's effect, summoning this from your hand to a link pointer is not that hard, and getting its effect is pretty darn good. You see this market price of 6 all the way down to $3.39 for the first edition, and it does quickly-ish rise, but Pro Play Games helping bring the rest of the market down here on it with just one copy. Nice, but it's been trickling on down, and is much cheaper than the eBay Reno of $5.40. So TCG player killing it on the Rescue Fair listings. Maybe some people invested and now they just want to get rid of them, tank them out. But it looks like a lot of stores actually as well on this card. So they're just trying to flip and make their dollars on them. It's the really perfect time to get them overall right now. I don't think this would be a Gold Series card personally, but much cheaper than eBay on TCG Player. Another card that is looking nice is Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, which actually was way cheaper last night on the Shiv version, if I recall. It had a few lower listings, and it looks like it's peaked a little. Pro Play Games at $442. I told you there's more from them this Market Watch. For the 2017 ones, 4 copies. This is one of those cards, whenever someone tops with it, they hate it or they loved it. Like, they are like, this card did nothing for me, or this card won me every game. And I definitely think there's formats where this is going to dominate, and I get we're in a pretty diverse meta right now. We'll head back towards singular metas throughout the ages, and this may not get a reprint for a while. Its next reprint may be an ultimate rare to go along with that Ghost Ogre. So $4.42, anything under $5. 15 for a play set of this card, I'm a fan of. And I would definitely consider just spiking the volleyball now and getting these 442 ones from Pro Play Games. Good job, George, today. That's been real nice. And as you see on eBay, the lowest period are $635, $665 on eBay. So TCG player, the stores are crushing it on here today. You definitely want to take a look-see around and decide, are these cards I've been waiting for a while? I want them. Evenly Matched is hitting back towards 50. That's pretty nice. It continues to cool down in these winter months. A lot of people are also speculating the ban list could have Evenly Matched. This card has been terrible for the meta. Have you watched the feature matches? And Pro Play Games lowest on the scene again. I definitely would consider if I were Konami hitting it, but it still seems too soon, bro. Too soon. You could have another March or April ban list before the national season, and with that consideration, I don't think they'll be hitting it on this one, but that's my speculation. Whenever you talk ban list, it's pure speculation. Just rolling through, $5 double helix once again. Just a lot of low cards, and it's nice with that winter cool off coming. You remember these were pushing over 30, like 32 ridiculous at some point from the sales. They're back to 27. It's just nice to see everything cool off a bit. And we see a TCG player actually beating eBay once again on this specific card. And scrolling back through, I was saying it's cooled off. You want to consider now what cards to get. Look at the $770 on Tornado Dragon versus $1085 price. You want to consider, am I going to play rank 4 deck sometime later this year? This might continue to cool off, but I think in February and March, when everything heats up, Tornado Dragon's one of those cards that'll heat up. But just deal after deal on cards right now that are going down. It's real nice to see. So just look across sets. Determine your own budget and decide what's cheap. But one card that's staying up, gotta give it to you guys. I don't get it. Phantom Knight's Fogblade. I don't think PKBA will be the master race of BA, but I do get that, these let you recur monsters for link summonings, so that is pretty cool. But the Ancient Cloak is slowly peaking back under its market price, so it's just interesting to see Fogblade, even though it's peaking a little under, stay up towards the $15 mark. It's crazy to me. It's something I didn't know at all. Tribute Lanius at the $637 mark. I have no clue on that. Please tell me why, guys. In your opinion, Tribute Lanius is a $6 card. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this Market Watch. The real question, besides Tribute Lanius, is Gen X Undyne. Is it worth its punch here? I think it shouldn't be this high, and whenever you have a buyout, usually it's a higher price. But what's up with it, guys? Let me know in the comment section down below.